Pues, buenos días. Soy yo, el señor Morris. ¿Cómo están ustedes? As you can see, today I've begun my vacation, and the first place I've decided to go is here, al desierto. Today, we're going to review the travel vocabulary that we've been using. We'll go over the vacation destinations that we introduced last class, and then talk about the seasons and the weather a little bit, relating them to vacation destinations. Pero primero, vamos a cantar nuestra canción de saludos. Canten conmigo. Hola, buenos días. ¿Cómo están ustedes? ¿Cómo se sienten? Yo me siento bien. Muy bien. Pues vamos a empezar con una adivinanza. Escriban estas letras. Go ahead and write these down in your notebooks or in a scratch piece of paper. Las letras son ñ, o, t, o. ñ, o, t, o. Okay? And they look like this, you see? ñ, o, t, o. You see the ñ, that's kind of tricky one. It's like an N with a tilde over it. Okay. Get those written down. Now, see if you can recognize this word during our lesson today. Well, I tell you what, let's go ahead and begin with a review of the travel words that we talked about during our first lesson of this unit. Let's look at those right now. Okay, we talked about this. If somebody goes in to get something, if they go to the store, they have to do something to take it home. Do you remember what it says? To pay for something? En español es pagar. Pagar, and you should have that one. And the place where you go to arrange your travel? Travel agency, and it's pretty much a cognate. El agencia de viajes. El agencia de viajes. Right. Oh, and what do you need to spend? Got to have this to spend. You got to have dinero. Got to have the dinero to spend. Another word that we looked at had to do with where you might stay. This one's real easy. It's a cognate, only you don't pronounce the first letter of this word. Es un hotel. Un hotel. Okay. And let's see. How about, what do we call people who travel? And remember that to travel is viajar. So the people who travel are called los viajeros. Los viajeros. And finally, if you're on vacation and you want to get something to eat, you might have to go out to one of these. Again, we got a cognate thing going here, so this is pretty easy. Es un restaurante. Un restaurante. Now, after we discussed this basic vocabulary, we looked at this question. We said if you go into a travel agency, they might ask you, ¿A dónde quieres ir? You remember that? ¿A dónde quieres ir? Where do you want to go? Well, they might, if they're talking to more than just you, say they're talking to your whole family, they might ask you this question, ¿A dónde quieren ir? And you see this? It has an N at the end. An N means that they're talking to you and your whole family. Let's look at the difference between these two. You see? You can say ¿A dónde quieres? With this S here. ¿A dónde quieres ir? And that's if I'm talking just to you, to one person. But if I'm talking to more than one person, I'm asking your whole family where they want to go, I'd say ¿A dónde quieren? And I see you got the N down there. Ir. So, last time we said quiero ir a, and that means I want to go to. Well, let's review these with a new answer. If they ask you ¿A dónde quieren ir? Well, these are some possible answers. Instead of saying I want to go, we can say maybe we can go to. Podemos ir. We can go to, what is this place called? Podemos ir a la playa. Podemos ir a la playa. So if they ask all of you, well, where do you want to go? You could say, well, we could go to the beach, Or you could say, podemos ir. Oh, this is where I was. Yeah, nice place, nice and warm. Podemos ir al desierto. Al desierto. What if you wanted to say, we could go to this place? You'd say, podemos ir, do you remember? Al bosque. Podemos ir al bosque. Yeah, we could go to the forest, couldn't we? What if you want to go to this large body of water there? Yeah, do some sailing. You would say, podemos ir al lago. Podemos ir al lago. Okay, and that means we can go to the lake. Right. What if you want to go to this place? Oh yeah, this is a great place for vacation. You'd say, podemos ir a las montañas. Podemos ir a las montañas. Or what if you want to go to this place? Yeah, do some fishing, maybe a little rafting. Then you could say, podemos ir al río. Al río. Okay. Those were the things that we talked about during the first and second lessons of this unit. Okay? Today, I'd like to talk about seasons and weather. Now, you may remember that when we were talking about the sports, we talked about what sport you would play during which season of the year. So we've already covered the names of the seasons in Spanish. And you should probably have those in your notebook if you want to look back in your notebook and refresh your memory about that. Do you remember what the seasons are called in English? You remember? Fall or autumn, winter, spring, and summer. Does that all sound familiar? Well, let's go ahead and review those again in Spanish. Estas son las estaciones en español. Esta estación. Here's this season of the year. You remember the leaves have started to fall off of the trees? Yeah. Some people might start back to school, like these guys may have started back to school, and it gets cold, doesn't it? It gets cold in the fall. You have to start putting your jackets on to stay warm. And in fall, what is fall called in Spanish? Do you remember? El otoño. El otoño. And you see that ñ is pronounced like kind of like a ñ. El otoño. Okay, la próxima estación es esta. Here's this season. You can see the snow is coming down. There's no leaves on any of the trees. This guy over here, he's going to build his snowman. The winter in Spanish. Do you remember I used to tell you that this might be a good season to go inside? This is called el invierno. El invierno is winter. El invierno. After invierno comes this season. Yeah, the leaves are starting to come out on the trees. You can see what's it doing here. It's raining. That's right, it's wet, but that helps the grass grow and the trees grow. There might be some storms where you live. Do you remember what spring is called in Spanish? It's called la primavera. La primavera. And the last season of the year, oh yeah, the sun comes out, all of the leaves are on the trees, the grass is nice and green. I bet these guys might even be on vacation from school. The summertime. Y en español es el verano. El verano is the summertime, and that's one of my favorite seasons of the year. Now, the reason that we have these different seasons is because of the weather that occurs during each season. And if you think about it, you can probably think what the weather is like during the different seasons. Well, I tell you what, let's go ahead now and look at the weather during the different seasons of the year. Okay, this first season that we talked about is el otoño. Oh, el otoño. And you know, in el otoño, these guys probably had to start back to school, didn't they? The leaves are falling off of the trees, And I have to put on my jacket because in el otoño hace frío. Ooh, I have to put my jacket on porque hace frío. You might want to write this down in your notebooks to make sure that you have it all. Hace frío en el otoño. The next season is el invierno, and if you are around in this part of the country, you'll probably see that in el invierno está nevando. Está nevando. Oh, está nevando en el invierno. And then we talk about la primavera. La primavera. Oh, all of the trees are growing because this stuff is coming out of the sky. It's not snowing. No está nevando. Está lloviendo. Está lloviendo. It makes everything grow. It's a great time of the year if you're a gardener. En la primavera. Finally, we come to this time. Yeah. El verano. Hey, what? Stop. Get the. Yeah. El verano. This is my favorite time of the year. Yeah, look at the sun is out. They're probably on vacation. You guys on vacation? Yeah, it's a great time of the year. The sun is out. And you know what? En el verano, hace calor. Hace calor. En el verano, that's right, the sun comes out and it's nice and hot. I like this season of the year. Well, I hope that you guys wrote all of those things down in your notebooks because we're going to be looking at those again. As a matter of fact, ahora vamos a repasar con la hoja de actividades llamada los lugares turísticos y el tiempo. This is what it looks like, and what we've done is we've gotten our different tourist locations here, and we're going to talk about the different weather in each one of those. Go ahead and start off by putting your name at the top. Roberto, soy yo. Now here's the key. Hace calor. Está nevando. Hace frío. Está lloviendo. So those were the different types of weather that we talked about. And the directions say, use the key to tell what the weather is like at each vacation destination. Well, ¿qué tiempo hace en las montañas? Let's look at this picture here. Oh, look at the wind is blowing through. There's no leaves on the trees. There are icicles hanging down. Well, let's look at our answers here and see. Would that be hace calor? No, no hace calor. ¿Está nevando? Well, I don't see anything coming down. Would that be hace frío? Well, that looks pretty good. ¿Está lloviendo? No, it's not that one. So it must be hace frío. Go ahead and write your answer on the activity sheet. Hace frío. Okay. And now don't forget to write your accent in there because that accent makes a difference. Go ahead and look at the rest of these. ¿Qué tiempo hace por el río y por el lago? And you can see there's that white stuff coming down. It's all on top of the mountain. ¿Qué tiempo hace en la playa y en el bosque? You can see those big drops. ¿Y qué tiempo hace en el desierto? ¿Qué tiempo hace en el desierto? Yeah, you can figure that one out because I've been there. Muy bien. Today we reviewed the vocabulary and the places that we could go on vacation. And we talked about the seasons and the weather and what it might be like to travel, what the weather might be like when we travel to different places. Pero saben que ya es hora de despedirnos. Now, before we go, did anyone get our adivinanza today? The letters were Ñ, O, T, O, yeah. Ñoto. Ñoto. Did you unscramble those to get this word? Otoño. Otoño. That's right. And that's one of the seasons that we talked about. Now for our goodbye song today, I'd like to sing Cielito Lindo. And the words for this are really very pretty. Starts off by saying, De la Sierra Morena. And that's a very famous mountain range. The Sierra Morena means, morena is a dark-haired or dark-skinned person, and it's a mountain range in Spain. De la Sierra Morena, cielito lindo, vienen bajando. So that's saying, cielito lindo means my little sky or my dear one. There's something coming down. Un par de ojitos negros, a pair of dark eyes. Cielito lindo de contrabando. So my little dear, they're contraband eyes. Do you know what contraband is? That means when they're hiding something. So I wonder what these eyes are hiding. It's a love song. It's a hint. And then it goes, and this is where I want everybody to sing, ay, 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 ay. Okay? And it says, canta y no llores. So that means sing and don't cry. Porque cantando se alegran, because when you sing, you make happy. Cielito lindo los corazones. Cielito lindo, you make the hearts happy when you sing. Okay? So that's the words to the song. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. And I'd like you to sing as much of it as you can with me. If you can't sing the whole thing, make sure that you join me for the ay, 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 ay part. ¿Listos? De la Sierra Morena, cielito lindo, vienen bajando. Un par de ojitos negros, cielito lindo de contrabando. Everybody sing. Ay, 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 ay. Canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo los corazones. Thanks a lot. You guys are doing a great job. Keep going over these things every chance you get in your classroom. See if you can do flashcards or invent games of your own to go over these. Practice going over them, and familiarity will really make it easy for you to remember them. And while you're doing that, look through your Spanish notebook, go over the other stuff that we've been talking about during this year. We're coming to the end of the year. Kind of go over and do a review. Practice your dialogues. Add some things to them. And until we see each other next time, adios y hasta luego.